learning options this fall. Choose traditional learning 5 days on campus with additional safety protocols, 100% online learning, or a combination of both. It's your choice. Our outstanding teachers provide a safe, supportive environment that will meet the needs of your family. Enrollment is easy and free. Call 216-750-2945 to get today.
Well, good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? We want to thank you for tuning in to KAZ Radio, none other than Queen on the Scene with my friend and yours, Lady Gilmore. Lady Gilmore, take it away.
Peace and good day to all of my supporters today. It's such a wonderful day. Amari Dani, what's the news? We have some awesome news here today. We have 6 African-American males that are principals and deans of the ACCEL school system. You are in for a treat with the information that these young men, I'm going to call them young men, that these young men will share with us. I believe in the Kwanzaa principles, Ujamaa, collection, work, and responsibility. Collective work and responsibility. When it comes to our babies, that's what we have to do. And also Ujima, collective economics. So these young men has taken a calling on their lives to be the elders before our young men and the elders before our young women, our babies, children, and youth. I'm going to open it up, and I'd like for you to start with Mr. Crosby. We have 1 minute to introduce ourselves because we have an awesome show today. All right, Mr. Crosby.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Lady Gilmore. I don't know if you remember who I am, but I remember you from when I was like 8 or 9.
That's
when
right.
my mom was involved with some other organizations you were involved in. So it's great to see you. It's crazy to me. It's mind-boggling. But I'm Sean Crosby. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised. And it's been an amazing journey for me. And I think it's the reason why I'm here in education is because of that journey. From Cleveland, I struggled through school personally. I was removed from a number of different schools. So sorry to those principals who do see me right now. And I gave you a run for your money. But I guess that all that work wasn't in vain, because now I think when I approach my lens to education, it's from a more empathetic, more of an understanding, and more also from a been there, done that lens. I've had high ups academically. I've had very lows academically, and then culturally also. So it's been awesome. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I went to Morehouse College. It's where I got my undergraduate degree. I went also to Emory University. I am passionate about youth development. I'm passionate about dropping seeds into our young people so that they know how to take over the next generation. My school is STEAM Academy of Warrensville Heights, where we are a K-8 school, free school for education. And I am excited to be here. I'm excited to talk more about STEAM, but also to talk more about education and how more people can get involved in supporting our young people. So it's great to be here.
Glad to have you, Mr. Gaines.
Good morning. Good morning again, Lady Gilmore. I'm glad to be back. It's a pleasure and an honor to be back. My name is Antonio Gaines, the proud principal at Cleveland College Preparatory School. We're located at 4906 Fleet Avenue, where we service, again, free K-8, tuition-free K-8 scholars. We're right nestled in the heart of the Slavic Village neighborhood. I'm ready to get into just our roles as leaders and African-American men within the ACCEL School Network and also just in the urban community. So again, thank you, Lady Gilmore, for having me and having us on this show today.
Thank you. Mr. Fishback.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning, Miss Lady Gilmore. I appreciate you having me on the show. It is a blessing to be a part of the show. My name is Mr. Fishback again. I am from Chicago, born and raised on the South Side. I moved to Cleveland in 2013. So I've been teaching in Cleveland. So it's going on 7 years now. I believe that my calling is education. God has called that upon my life. I'm excellent, I feel like, in my field. Currently serve as the Dean of Students at Euclid Preparatory School. Euclid Preparatory School is located in Euclid, Ohio, 23001 Euclid Avenue. Again, we are a part of the ACCEL Schools Network as well. It is tuition free. K-8, and we do offer all 3 learning modalities for families. Families do have the opportunity to have their kids come into the building traditionally. Kids can learn fully online as well, virtual, or families do have the option to be hybrid as well. And again, it's just an honor to be on this show, Lady Gilmore. And again, I know that this is my calling, being an educator, being a part of that 1%.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Williams, you spoke, right? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Okay. I don't see anybody else. Is anybody else on?
There's 2 Mr. Williams. I think
okay.
Jesse, you can go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Jesse Williams. I am the assistant principal at Ohio College Preparatory School, located at 2100 Southgate Boulevard. That's in Maple Heights, Ohio. This is my first year with ACCEL. I'm excited. I'm happy to come to a smaller network where I can just do more focusing on, making scholars reach academic success. This is my 18th year in education, so I would definitely say that this is my calling. I started out as a science teacher, teaching biology and chemistry. I did that for about 12 years. I decided that, I wanted to be more dynamic outside the classroom and touch more scholars. So I decided to go back to school and get and obtain another degree so I can just be an administrator. So this is my 6th year being an administrator. So 12 plus 6 is 18. Once again, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Mr. Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lady Gilmore, for allowing us to be here, allowing me to be here again. Principal Robert Williams, principal of Cleveland Preparatory Academy, located at 4850 Pearl Road. We are a K-8 tuition-free school, and like Mr. Fishback and all of us, we offer the 3 different modalities for our students: home, virtual, well, I should say hybrid, virtual, and then traditional. So just excited about being here, and thank you again for allowing us to be here.
You're so welcome. Is Mr. Felton here? Is Mr. Felton here? He's probably going to come in a little later on. But I want to say, excuse me, I want to say, I'm not going to call you son today. I'm going to respect you, Mr. Sean Crosby. We never gave up on you, son, and you already know that. Sister Joyce per year said that we give you hugs and kisses because we spent a lot of time with this young man and his mother, and that's what you all are doing. You're spending time with our babies, those different ones that may have whatever is going on in their lives, but to see a daddy figure, a male figure, because some of our babies don't get this at home. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's correct. Absolutely.
Some of them don't get it at home. And to come to an established school and see a man that looks like them, it encourages a lot of them. Now, I know we've listed your schools where you all are at, but how many schools is it altogether? Because I want to be right with my information.
I believe it's close to about 50 schools across the state. We're all over the state and all different types of communities. There's rural communities, there's, the urban communities, all over.
In our area.
Yes, there's 51 schools in Ohio, over the US. But there's 40 out of those 51, 43 of those are right nestled here in Ohio. and we make up the Northeast Ohio sector of 17.
Very, very good. So we have a chance. Elders, the village, we have a chance with our children. So we're located throughout the entire world, which is a good thing. But I like to know, I know we have the different modes of learning options at the school. Can someone elaborate on that? Because we do have parents that's watching and is struggling with the hybrid learning, the virtual. So how are you all addressing that? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anybody jump in. I'm old school.
Right now in my building, we do have the 3 modalities. I will say that we are getting better with navigating through our curriculum online. It was difficult at first for the parents to actually get accustomed to assisting their scholars with logging in, making sure they were submitting assignments, so on and so forth. I would say about our 321 scholars, I'll say about 240 of them are online. Right now, we have another population of 30 that are hybrid, so we see those scholars 2 days a week. So they come to the building 2 days a week, and then they do remote learning for the other 3 days a week. We take A through L Monday and Tuesdays, and M through Z Thursday and Friday. And other than that, we have about, I would say, 60 kids that come to the building for traditional learning, so they're there 5 days a week.
So how are they transitioning mentally from traditional learning to coming in so many days a week and virtual learning?
It's a task. I won't sit up here and act like it's not. It is a task. But we have dedicated teachers that, constantly communicate with peers through Class Dojo. We make sure that we make our phone calls daily. For students that are still struggling at home and parents that just can't assist their kids, with the time that they need, we also provide our students with packets as well that actually mirror the curriculum that we're using online. So they're more than welcome to come up to the building and do the old pencil and pen writing stuff, the traditional mode of learning.
Mr. Gaines, give me some insight on how you're dealing with it at your school. I need to hear from everybody how you're dealing with it at your own schools.
Yeah, so at Cleveland College Prep, we have two modalities, which are the hybrid learning and also the online learning. So we have on Mondays and Tuesdays, we have roughly about 45 students that's coming inside of the building, and the rest of those students are working online. Again, as Mr. Williams said, it is a task for those parents who are online. And just for the sake of just being transparent, working in an urban setting as we all do, those parents don't have the technology, the resources to be able to sustain the bandwidth of having multiple kids online at the same time. So what we're doing, like Mr. Williams said, the parents can come up and get that support as far as navigating through our curriculum and our platform, but then also they can come get our books that we have, and then also the pencil and paper assignments to turn in. So we're trying to accommodate the parents as much as possible. Our teachers are just dedicated. The rest of my administrative staff is just dedicated, just being, hands-on and assisting as much as we can. So it is a task, but we're working through it.
Praise God. Mr. Crosby.
Yes. So as one of the things I noticed is, we have most of us here on the screen here, we have in common the 3 modalities. So the great thing about it is that our students, they get the opportunity to get academic instruction all from the same place for the most part, that our Canvas AMP platform. And on that platform, the pacing guide, the scope and sequence, so it's all the same. So for example, Mr. Williams, both of the Mr. Williams students and my students are all learning the exact same thing at the exact same time. So my virtual students, my students who never come into the school are learning the exact same thing as my students who come in the building every day, and same for the hybrid students. It's been interesting because it's a challenge. I won't lie, it's a challenge. It feels like I'm basically running 4 schools, because I have 4 students come in, students come in every day, and then 2 different groups of hybrid students coming in, and then also the virtual piece as well. So it's like 4 sets of work.
Yes.
But the challenge for us is to make sure those students are engaged, to make sure those students get the same opportunities, and also to make sure that our teachers are supported also, because that's a struggle as well. It's a lot of people to support. So it's a challenge, but I don't think that we're failing here. We have a lot of great things to offer that other schools don't. Like, for example, our online platform is literally like a school online. So while other folks are on like Google and doing Google Classroom and Zoom, our kids actually log online to a virtual school, and they have their home teacher, they have all their courses there, everything is there, and it makes it so much easier for us to complete instruction as well.
Okay, Mr. Fishback.
Yes, ma'am. To add on to what the gentleman stated, we're doing everything we can to make sure that the equity is there at Euclid Preparatory School. So we're offering all 3 of those modalities. So with that being said, so even if we do have traditional students in the building, those students who are learning hybrid and virtually, they're receiving that same education as the same curriculum, again, to make sure that the equity is there. We have ensured to the parents, and even if someone wants to walk into our building, we are adhering to the CDC guidelines. And even if parents are struggling at home, our team is amazing. We're offering on-site tech support at our school. We've been trained very thoroughly to navigate the system, troubleshoot problems. So we've all been helping each other in this time right now, and everybody's job has shifted. So we have to learn something new, which better serves the parents. So if a parent is having internet issues at home, or if a computer is glitching, our staff is trained to learn how to correct those issues. And initially we were offering what's called a Safe Keep program at Euclid Preparatory School as well. So if parents did not have internet access at home, they were able to have their child come into the building, again, adhering to the CDC guidelines. Students were 6 feet apart, and students were still able to get their education, because we're big on that equity piece and ensuring that each kid is educated. So we're doing the same thing that the other, schools are doing as well at Euclid Preparatory School.
What type of responses are you getting from the parents, us grandparents as well? My 12-year-old granddaughter is struggling with social. She said, "Grandma, I miss my friends." She just got a report card, excellent report card, but she missed her friends. So are you all dealing with those social issues as well with our children and parents?
Yeah, I always say that schooling is probably 60% social and the 40% academic, because 2 plus 2 is going to be the same at every school that you go to. So it's about how you approach your young people, and basically socialize them so that they can basically enter into community when they reach our age. So it's been a struggle for us, but we've been doing some cool things. Like we have our behavior intervention specialist who offers a social emotional learning course, or I shouldn't call it a course, but a elective option for our students. So all of our students get character education, but they also get social emotional learning. So they have a teacher who comes in at least twice a week, and they talk about those aspects of cultural development and social emotional development. I think it's powerful. And then also, I'm gonna be very quick. Our kids deal with a lot. I can think about the things that I was dealing with when I was their age, and now multiply that. So giving them an opportunity to have a voice and find a voice is key for them. And that's probably why a lot of our young people are missing their family, their friends, because that was their opportunity to outlet. So that's kind of the things that we're doing here at STEAM Academy in Warrensville Heights.
Oh, very, very good. A thought just came to my mind. The children that have been bullied, that I personally know, they're excited not to go to school. They are really learning. They're loving it. The the virtual learning because they're not getting picked on, they're not taking their lunches. Well, you know, we're all familiar with the ugly bullying area. And they're doing, some of my parents, because I work with a lot of youth, and a lot of my parents are saying that it's a relief from them that they don't have to worry about their child being bullied in school, and they're learning better at school. I mean, at home. So how do we balance that with these particular children? I know all of you have experienced it in all of the schools.
I would say, you know, I could kind of speak for everybody here. We want to touch base with our families and check in with our students to see how they're doing, not only academically, but socially. So I think those active check-ins and follow-up phone calls that you have with your students, and also the opportunity during these live sessions, virtual sessions with the kids. It's always good for an administrator to pop in, like a principal to pop into those sessions, and those kids see their principal and kind of engage in the lesson. That is one way I know that we've been kind of servicing and following up and ensuring, you know, that social interaction piece and following up with those kids who, you know, do struggle from a social standpoint when they're at school, and now they're totally virtual. So just checking in with our families, seeing how they're doing, you know, and in many cases doing home visits. But for the most part, it's just making sure that we follow up with our, not only everyone, but with those kids that do struggle with the social interaction piece.
Well, I'm feeling so good talking about this today, but I want to bring up somebody else, another area that's a concern. How do you connect with the children that work? Is it at a certain time that you do virtual learning, Mr. Gaines?
Yes. So our school hours at all of this, well, my particular school at Cleveland College Prep, connecting with virtual and hybrid, we're all on the same schedule. So from 7:30, we open our doors till 3:30 when we end instruction. So that's how we're connecting with all of the students. Everyone is on the same schedule. And then also with the same curriculum, we have the same Canvas platform to where if a student was to say transfer within our network, they're still learning the same thing and possibly at the same time. So if a student was to transfer from Mr. Williams' school and come over to Cleveland College Prep, they'll be learning the same thing on the same platform. So as a collective group, we're all on the same page.
So the children that work, Mr. Crosby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and then also, and this is a reality of the work that we're doing, the way we're doing with these three modalities. We have students coming in every day in the building. We also have a contingency plan for just in case they shut down schools and nobody can come physically into the building. Our kids won't miss a beat because they already know how to log in online. They already know how to access their content. They already have access to the virtual school. So it's been, like I said, it's stressful, but it's great to have a contingency plan, because last year I was in New York City and I don't know anybody who was just ready to go when everything shut down. And now I feel more confident that we could do that.
And to add to that, I know at Euclid Prep, to ensure that the kids are connected, on time, we try to make sure that we call families just to check in. Like, we see if a kid hasn't logged in at 8:30 a.m. at the scheduled time, I typically give them to about 8:40. And then the team and I, we get them making phone calls just to check in, just to say, hey, just to make sure everything is okay, making sure that the kids are getting online, which is also different, just calling the parents, constantly, just making sure that the communication is there as well, and see if anything that we can do to be a better assistance. If they are having trouble, make sure that their kid is online from 8:30 to 3:30.
Okay, I have another question that's dear to my heart. What motivates you to work in the areas that you work in? And why did you originally choose this path? Because all of you have been to college, you've changed your different, degrees, you've changed your path. Let me put it that way. So what motivated you to work as an educator in this particular area?
Well, for me, growing up in the greater Cleveland area, we moved around a lot. So I'm familiar with a lot of neighborhoods. It was times where I was in Warrensville. It was times where I was in Maple. It was times where I went to Shaker. I went to 5 elementary schools. So I'm very I guess you could say educated as far as the different areas are concerned in the Cleveland network. What actually pulled me to Maple Heights is I stay in Maple Heights. So who would not want to drive 6 minutes to get? I stayed in Maple Heights. I went to Dunham Elementary, so I went to Maple Heights City Schools 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. I'm very familiar with the area. When I moved back to Cleveland, I can say that I've been in the city in Maple Heights for about 10 years now. So just the proximity from school to work. And as far as coming to ACCEL, I've taught in various school districts. And one thing that stood out to me is that ACCEL is a smaller network, and I feel like you can foster better relationships. I was in a very larger school system to where once you foster relationships and build those, I guess you could say relationships with the scholars and families and teachers, depending on enrollment, you may be there 1 year, and then next year you're gone. So it's like you never get to see the fruits of your labor when you establish relationships and bonds. With ACCEL, it's like, okay, the staff is small. I can manage this population. There's not much moving around. And, with that being said, you can focus more on your craft and more on building those scholars for achievement. That's what brought me to ACCEL.
Oh, bless the Lord. Chime in, please. I don't need to, call your names because everybody has so much to say. Go ahead.
So for me, Mr. Gaines, as I mentioned in the last episode, all of our schools are located in the urban setting. And from my school, Cleveland College Prep, we're located in the heart of Slavic Village neighborhood. I'm from the inner city of Cleveland, born and raised in the Garden Valley. I had the opportunity to go to Cleveland Public School District, but then I also had the advantage to go to Cleveland Heights School District. So I had kind of, you want to say, the best of both worlds. I had the inner city vibe and then also the suburban vibe. But the difference is that coming from the inner city of Cleveland and moving to a suburban district, it was academically, a transition to where the quality of education. And so what drove me to ACCEL as being a community school and a smaller network is to reach back to those individuals to where I came from that don't get that quality of education. So that's my passion, my calling, is to reach back to those individuals who may be left out or slip through the cracks. And I'll be able to pick up that load and shield some of that burden and assist those parents and students and those academic challenges and economic challenges as well.
Can we roll the tape back in your life for a moment? When you was transferred from one school to another school, how did you feel the first day that you went to the other school?
Honestly, lost. So transitioning from, the curriculum where it wasn't there, no textbooks. Of course, technology wasn't really, vibrant at that time. But as far as textbooks, and then also socially was the biggest issue, to where growing up in inner city, it was more so of a cohesive family. We were all a family because we were all in the same neighborhood. But then moving out there, it was different socially, to where everyone, was pretty, well off, so to speak, to where, I didn't have to worry about, getting dressed for school, actually getting dressed and putting on clothes. It was just, all right, I'll throw my uniform on and go to school. It was more so going into Cleveland Heights, to where, they took everything, as far as making sure they looked a certain way, they talked a certain way. I didn't have that. I was socially lost, academically lost as well, because they had the advantage growing up with the parents in the household being able to, help them along the way. And then it's I can go on and on, but I don't want to take up all the time. But it was just socially, you know, awkward at times.
Well, this is what's so important about ACCEL school system. You all know, some of you all have experienced it, so you know firsthand how to deal with it. When the challenges come up and you see a child walking down the hallway and then he or she head is down and just you will automatically know it's something wrong here and I need to address this now.
It's interesting because I'm hearing this conversation, and I was a trip. Okay, so to keep it very honest, I was a lot to handle. I didn't start off like that, but I was bullied all through elementary school, and I didn't feel like I had an advocate. And then that created a monster all through middle school, all through high school. And I went through about 4 schools in middle school and about another 4 or 5 schools in high school. So every type of school you can think of, because my mom was trying everything. She tried Catholic school, she tried charter school, she tried public school, she tried the creative way of sending me to a nice school district, a much better school district. So we tried a lot of things, and it had to be an innate thing for me to want to have that intrinsic change so that I could, access a better life. I'm thinking about me in high school, and I struggled. And when I went to a new school, I walked into the building with a challenge. Like, who's gonna try me? Let's go. I came from that standpoint. And it wasn't until I got involved in like the Upper Bound program at Cleveland State. I missed that program, it's no longer here. But that program exposed me to life outside of high school. And I got to visit colleges in my 11th grade year. And it was about that opportunity for me that really shook things up for me. I barely graduated high school. I had to fight to get into college. And when I got there, I had to prove myself. So I got into this work because I represent a large demographic of African-American males, young men who are going through school. So when I go to classrooms and my teachers say, hey, you got a friend in here who needs some support, the conversation, the lens is really from, I've been there, done that. But then it's also a compassionate lens because I have a assumption on a way that I can support. And it's to be more nurturing, but also very firm at the same time.
And so you touched on my next question. I'm going to put it out there anyway, because I do want the other gentleman to give me a heartfelt answer. What challenges do you face as an African-American male educator and school leader? And how do you overcome these challenges? You just gave us a perfect example, but somebody else, please come in and let's talk about this because of our children of 2020.
I guess I will we'll piggyback this.
Go ahead.
I would say that one of the challenges that I deal with as an African American administrator is getting my core teachers, who are generally not not the majority isn't from our culture, from our African American community. So it's getting them to connect and correlate with our families and our kids and trying to assimilate some understanding about our culture, because we know that there could be cultural differences. And how does that look? And getting our teachers to really understand, the difference between misbehavior and unmet needs. So I think that's kind of a challenge as an administrator, getting the staff, bridging that gap with our teachers and our students. But one way that this year I think has been a challenge for all of us, and I think ACCEL has done a really good job of putting the protocols and plans in place to help support not only from a pandemic standpoint, but from a social emotional standpoint. They're doing a really good job of keeping us safe, making sure that when we enter into the building, that being a challenge with our students and staff, taking temperatures, consistently providing, and making sure that our policies are met, but yeah, the challenges across the board, being an African-American administrator, it's definitely making sure that we model the behaviors, and being a strong leader, because we know it's very important for all of us, to lead this generation, this society with everything that's going on, and making sure that we're doing things from a positive standpoint.
That's why I always show up with Habari Ghani. What's the news? We need to talk about what's the news with our children, with all these different transitions. So what I'm hearing from you all is that you may come in the building as the administrator, the principal, the dean, but as you walk forth, when the change come, you can easily transition over to, take this hat off. Now I need to be a counselor. Now I need, am I right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
There is no script at all
No.
for the day of our principals, deans, teachers, and all of the staff. So you got to be able to switch right away. And guess who can't have a bad day? You all can't have a bad day. Mr. Crosby can't have a bad day. Mr. Gaines, both Mr. Williams and Mr. Fishback. None of you all can have a bad day, because your bad day is null and void when these children, when our babies need our personal one-on-one attention. So I would like for Mr. Fish, let me see. Yes, Mr. Fishback. I'd like for you to comment on this, please.
How about the many different hats that we have to wear in the school building? I think that's what makes the job. I always tell people that's what makes my job, my calling great, is because no day is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting that especially, when I initially went into education, like, I'm just going to be the teacher. You're 18, 19, you don't know any better. But when you actually get in the field, you see that I actually have to wear many different hats. So I have to be Mr. Fishback, the dean of students. Then I have to be Mr. Fishback, the father figure, the male role model. Then I have to be Mr. Fishback, the counselor, Mr. Fishback, the psychologist, Mr. Fishback, the lawyer at times if it's some inappropriate behavior going on, the lawyer and the judge, because I got to get a final verdict. But I think that's what makes this work so great, is that the kids get to see you in different aspects and different lights. And the kids get the opportunity to see that, he does care more than just about the academic piece. Yes, Mr. Fishback and Mr. Gaines, Mr. Woods, Mr. Crosby, yes, they want me to excel academically, but they also do care about me personally. They care about my emotions. They care about how I interact socially as well. And they just care about me in general. So I think that is important as administrators, that we wear those different hats and take on those different hats and put 110% effort into all those hats that we have to put on.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes 210%. Because
yes.
we don't have time to have our own pity party, because we have an assignment to complete. Exactly. And I want to bounce back with Mr. Crosby. You are a great example. All of you are, to admit the challenges that you all experience yourself coming up, and then all of a sudden, here's that change. The change came. And you're standing up there in the positions that your past teachers, principals, counselors, gym and basketball and all of that. So when you share that with your students, what are their reactions?
So on my first week of me being in my role, I pulled each grade of students and I told them who I was. So to see their jaws drop, and when I told them more, I told them more stories than you guys have heard, and immediately after that conversation, can I come talk to you? Can I come talk to you? Can I and I'm finding that I have the student who I heard the stories about, oh, he's a trip. You got to watch him because he wiles out in the classroom. We had a fight with him last year. Oh, and have him almost like following me around the school. And if I walk in the room, he sits up straight. He automatically adjusts himself. I can't remember having that growing up, in my personal life or in a school. So I think it's powerful for that to happen. But then also, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to have deeper conversations on life. What do you want to be? Okay, why you want to be that? What made you think about that? And the students don't know the type of conversation and the type of seeds that I'm planting, but I'm very intentional about the work that I'm doing with each and every one of them. And I think about, I have a kindergartner who stabbed his teacher in the hand with a pen, and I pulled him. I said, "Now, why would you do that?" And I gave him some. I have a good conversation with him, coupled with the one that his family had. But then right after I said, "Now I love you, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it." And how often I use that "I love you" word, and they look at me like, "Whoa!" But then I show it in a different, and I don't just say it. I show them that I love you, and I think that's powerful. And it took me a long time to be able to be comfortable with myself and comfortable with my journey and accept my journey to be able to do that as well. So when you talk about the many hats, I'm also doing that for our adults, because traumatized kids who don't get support grow up to be traumatized adults who then go out to do what? So it's
traumatize
like having
the
those
community.
So it's a lot. It's a heavy load to wear. But I love it. The challenge every day is special. And I feel like we're the gentlemen here on this call, we're all in like an elite club almost. And we can kind of, when we hear things like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been there, done that. But yeah.
And Lady Gilmore, can I add to that?
Yes.
That is so important with what he stated. And that's something that I'm big on. You have to make, when teachers or previous administrators, they label kids and they say, well, this kid was this issue. He did A, B, C, and D. I think it's important that you watch what you're saying about that child, because I'm a firm believer that the tongue is very powerful.
It is.
So you want to speak life. Like you said, you want to plant seeds of greatness in that kid. And like you said, that this kid may have done A, B, C, D in the past, but you have the opportunity to change, to help that kid change his narrative and the way that his life can just change if you just speak positivity into that particular kid. So I just wanted to add to that. I agree so much with Mr. Crosby that you have to speak nothing but greatness and plant seeds of greatness in these kids and not focus on what they did in the past.
Absolutely. And a lot of them, just to hear, I love you. A lot of my babies tell me their mama or their daddy has ever told them that I love you. And with all this going on, a child needs to know that somebody loved them. And with you all being honest, a lot of times they'll tell me, why are you the way you are? I said, because at one time I was 5, 6, 12, 15. I said, and we're going to leave that where it is. And then, everybody laughed. But they need to know that we aren't these big giants.
Yeah.
That's, oh no, I wouldn't do that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And we have to understand, like with the ACCEL school system, that's why I'm so glad to have you principals, African American male principals on, so they can hear that these particular schools are addressing all issues. All issues. We're not picking and choosing. And if I'm remembering right, one of the principals came out of foster care.
Yeah, that was that was me growing up in foster care.
Williams?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That was so powerful when you mentioned that on our first interview, how you came out of foster care and you shared some parts of your life, but there's so many other children that have been in foster care and came out of foster care and was probably told, you ain't nothing, you never ain't gonna be nothing, blah, 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 blah. But to see you say it and see where you are now, what an encouragement that you have given these children. You gave them hope. All of you all are giving them hope. You guys are coming to school wearing ties, bow ties, your shirts and your pants pulled up, your belt, your shoes shining, looking like you're somebody. And they will listen. Let's talk about that. When they come and want to pull you aside and talk to you, how do you feel when a child does that? I'm not calling names, y'all could, chime in.
Okay. I think it kind of helps give us that sense of pride that, we are executing our calling. To be able to identify that kid that you were inside your own school and have that kid reach out to you, I think it just makes it full circle, and it kind of gives us that encouragement to continue to do what we need to do. And then, recognizing that that's a small gain, but still that's part of what we do and part of our calling. But I would say for me, it just gives me that satisfaction to know that I am I'm in my calling, in my profession, and that I was that kid and I didn't have that support that looked like me inside of the school. So for me, it's that full circle, element.
Same here. It just puts a smile on my heart, especially when you got that tough kid who doesn't necessarily talk to everyone and he's coming to talk to you. It just puts a smile on my heart. And then I am one, and that's both my principal and I, Principal Goss and I. I'm a firm believer that I don't paint the pretty, picture for the child. If it's something that I can relate to with the child, I'm going to inform you on some of my life experience as well. So that way we make that connection, and that connection even goes deeper. So you can see that, it is light at the end of the tunnel. This is just something temporary that you may be, in right now. So like Mr. Williams said, it does put that smile in your heart, and it just further lets you know that this is your calling. God does have you here for a reason in this field.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
And to add,
if I can
go ahead, Mr. Gaines.
I'm sorry. Okay, so just to add to Mr. Fishback and Mr. Williams, it's about building that connection and that bridge with the students and also the parents and the teachers. Just the unique thing that I know everyone has their own unique strategy within their own buildings, but the unique thing with myself, the leadership team, and Cleveland College Prep, we built that family atmosphere. As soon as you walk in, I'm going to love on you when you're doing the right things, and I'm going to give you some tough love too when you're doing the wrong things. And so that uniqueness about myself and Cleveland College Prep, we don't mind, like I mentioned earlier, putting the boots to the ground, going to their homes, seeing how they live, talking to them on their front porch, talking to them, within their community and their neighborhood, and just being that visible, like you said, shirt and tie, walking up and down the street neighborhood, just saying, oh, that's Mr. Gaines, and just having that authentic conversation with those in the neighborhood and letting them know that I'm here as an advocate for you. And then also just, coming to the building, being that voice and being that male figure to look up to, and as well as my administrative staff as well, and teachers, just those individuals to look up to. So that's kind of like the uniqueness of Cleveland College Prep and myself. And I know everyone has different strategies on how to build that connection and that relationship and just being authentic.
Amen. Anyone else?
Just to piggyback on what everyone else is saying, when a scholar comes up to you and ask, can they speak to you? It actually, it does put a smile on your face, like Mr. Fishback was speaking of. It put a smile on your face because it reassures you that you had developed a relationship, a one-on-one relationship with that scholar. It lets you know that I am doing something positive. I am moving the school in the right direction. And when you feel like that, it motivates you to continue to do more. You know, it's the reason why you wake up and go to school. It's the reason why you are still in the field of education. At Ohio College Prep, we make sure that we try to foster individual relationships with all of our scholars on a one-on-one accord because all our students are different. So one mechanism of me speaking to one scholar A may not be the same procedure and protocol that I do with scholar B. So how you foster these relationships is basically, you know, like we said, reaching out to parents, making sure you have those communication with students when you're doing your classroom rounds. Sit next to the child. What are you learning today? What you need help with? Oh, what's difficult? Are you getting this? How can I help you? You know, and they'll actually see, oh, you know, not only are you a principal, my disciplinarian, my mentor, my dad, you know, all those things I'm talking about, but oh, you know how to do this stuff too. You can help me as well. So maybe I can go to Mr. Williams' office and do some work if I'm having a struggling day in my classroom. You know, it just makes you feel, you know, more hearted at the end of the day.
And you know, it means so much to them, even though we're saying that our schools is free, tuition free, but it's more beyond free. We offer so much to pour that water into our children. And this is what I'm loving. That's why I was saying we needed to come back again, because we didn't get a chance to really, as they say, get down with the nitty gritty, you know. And I'm very, very impressed again today that you all don't have a problem shifting one of those many hats. You take your derby hat off, you put your baseball cap on, you turn it around front or backwards. You don't have a problem, because our children need immediate attention. No, go over there and sit down. No. Because we don't know what's going through that child's mind. So what, my time is going so fast again. My last question is, and we're going to be closing out with this question. How can families get in touch with you, and what closing remarks do you have? I can't see you all, so just go start.
Okay, I'll start off. Families can get in touch with all of us through our websites, particularly clevelandprepacademy.org, or give us a phone call, 216-741-2991. And what we're doing at each school is making sure that all of our kids are safe, first and foremost. So families, children, we're all making sure that we're following the protocols set forth by the Ohio Department, you know, the health department and whatnot, and then offering those three modalities in support to our families. Whether it's traditional, 5 days a week, hybrid, which is a couple of days at school, the rest at home, and then virtual, making sure we just provide that virtual support too as well. So that's what we're doing at Cleveland Prep Academy.
Okay, Mr. Williams, Cleveland Preparatory Academy.
And for at Euclid, this is Mr. Fishback. The way that you can get in contact with us at Euclid Preparatory School, you can visit our website, www.euclidprep.org. Again, that's www.euclidprep.org. You can also give us a call at the school. Our number is area code 216-750-2070. So that's how you can reach us at Euclid Preparatory School. And my closing remark is all ACCEL Schools, we're big on quality education. Each of our schools, again, that quality and equity. So those are my closing remarks. And again, my name is Mr. Fishback at Euclid Preparatory School, and our number is 216-750-2070.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Gaines, Principal Gaines from Cleveland College Preparatory School. We're located at 4906 Fleet Avenue. You can reach us again on our website at clevelandcollegeprep.org, or you can give us a phone call at 216-341-1347. We're nestled right in the heart of the Slavic Village neighborhood, and we are a community school. ACCEL, all of our schools are community schools, and we really abide by that community and that family atmosphere at Cleveland College Prep. We're going to greet you right at the door, opening the doors for the students, the parents at the cars. What we're going to do is going to love on you. We're going to respect everyone's differences. And we just love to just hear some of the success stories that comes back to Cleveland College Prep. Yes. So again, you can reach myself at 216-341-1347. Visit us on our website at clevelandcollegeprep.org or stop by at 4906 Fleet Avenue. I'll be glad to meet any and all of you. Thank you. Thanks again, Lady Gilmore.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
And again, my name is Sean Crosby, Principal Crosby, STEAM Academy of Warrensville Heights. You can reach us at 4700 Richmond Road in Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Our phone number is 216-595-2866. Again, 216-595-2866. And I just want to leave you with the road to educating or raising a child is a community effort. And your school, our schools are here to serve as a resource for you. It will be rough, it will be hard, but everything that's worth winning and earning, that typically those things aren't given to you. You have to work for them. So don't quit on your kids. Be firm with them, be consistent with them, but also continue to show them the love and ensure that they feel it. And remember, love is felt in a lot of different ways. So make sure you're diverse in how you show your children love. You can reach us again at 216-595-2800, 2866. And this is STEAM Academy of Warrensville Heights. Thank you for having me, Lady Gilmore.
You're welcome. Next, please.
All right. In closing, once again, my name is Jesse Williams. I'm the assistant principal at Ohio College Preparatory School. You can reach us at www.ohiocollegeprep.org. We are located at the Southgate Plaza at 2100 Southgate Park Boulevard. That's in Maple Heights, Ohio. Our phone number is 216-453-4550. We're here to offer your scholars an individualized learning experience that's catered towards academic success. So if you want to get on board, we're offering all three modalities of learning to assist your very much needs. Once again, I'm at ohiocollegeprep.org. We're in the Maple Heights area. Phone number is 216-453-4550. Thank you.
Is that it? Is that everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All righty then. Thank you all so very much. I
Thank
want
you.
everybody to come over to the ACCEL school system where the table is spread and our children are being fed. Thank you so very much for coming in today. I love all of you all. And I want to say to everybody, peace.
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 Peace.